Data centers are expanding at a scale that is testing the absolute physical limits of modern infrastructure. The primary barriers to building these facilities are no longer capital constraints. The roadblocks are strictly bound by the laws of physics, securing enough electricity to run the chips and dissipating massive heat generated by dense compute. Average rack density spiked from 16 to 27 kilowatts per rack, the sharpest increase in a decade. As demand shoots up, grid power and supply chains remain flat or are declining. The gap between operator needs and physical supply is widening. When a buyer is struggling simply to secure grid access, a pitch focused on individual component specs becomes secondary to the immediate problem of whether the facility can open at all. For years, the standard pitch relied on localized component features, technical speeds and feeds, and undercutting competitors on price. Operators are increasingly prioritizing survival mechanics, systems that guarantee uptime, speed up construction timelines, and ensure operational predictability. Vendors who stick to feature dumping will find themselves immediately relegated to punishing price wars or completely disqualified during early procurement vetting. AI readiness is now the non-negotiable baseline. Every product pitch, regardless of category, must demonstrate how it solves for high-density, power-hungry deployments. As a vendor, you face a direct choice: maintain a comfortable sales motion with diminishing returns, or restructure your go-to-market strategy around holistic risk management. This comparison matrix maps the strategic divide. Legacy facility upgrades route to mid-level managers, often stalling at utility power limits. The 2026 approach pitches alternative energy, elevating conversations to the C-suite. With 25% generating power on-site, it's a core business strategy. The same logic applies to cooling and construction. Highly customized, site-built cooling arrays introduce severe timeline risks and require specialized labor that operators simply cannot source right now. The solution for operators is a massive shift toward modular, off-site prefabrication. They are actively seeking factory-built components that guarantee plug-and-play predictability. This chart highlights exactly where operators are directing those investments. 77% prioritize prefabricated power modules, and 69% are seeking modular cooling units. The sheer density means liquid cooling is the accepted shorthand for AI readiness. Over 60% of operators are actively integrating it into their roadmaps. For physical infrastructure vendors, providing equipment that slots into a hybrid, modular build without friction is far more valuable than bespoke technical optimization. The strain on physical resources extends to the supply chain. The surge in data center development has triggered intense global competition for the exact same GPUs, electrical gear, and cooling infrastructure. This visualization points to a critical warning metric. 15% of operators have suffered literal outages directly caused by supply chain delays. But that's just the tip. 66% face ongoing procurement constraints, proving logistical delays directly translate into uptime failures. Buyers are actively demanding guaranteed lead times, local stock availability, and complete visibility. Vendors offering the lowest price but operating with an opaque supply chain will simply be left off the shortlist. At the same time, the security landscape is forcing a similar level of scrutiny. Human and AI-assisted threats have overtaken ransomware, cited by 61% of respondents. In response, 84% of operators are radically tightening their vendor vetting processes. In an era of AI-assisted threats and component shortages, a vendor's transparent security posture and supply chain reliability function as primary commercial features. The friction isn't limited to hardware. 87% of operators report that severe workforce gaps are actively impacting their daily operations. Because teams are stretched incredibly thin, legacy data center software pitches fail. Adding dense new monitoring interfaces only increases the burden on IT generalists who are already drowning in alerts. The new mandate for management software is clear: integrate AI specifically for predictive maintenance and surface automated insights that don't require an analyst to interpret. Operators are actively seeking these capabilities today, with 66% planning to integrate machine learning into their management platforms within the next 3 years. Software vendors will secure contracts only if their product tangibly reduces cognitive load. You must act as a force multiplier for an overstretched workforce, rather than assigning them a new chore. To remain relevant through this infrastructure boom, Every vendor should measure their go-to-market strategy against this readiness scorecard. For legacy incumbents, rely on established relationships to secure the initial meeting, but know that buyers will replace you if you fail to pivot toward modular delivery and liquid cooling compatibility. For agile innovators, stop trying to beat incumbents on pure technical specifications. Win the contract by guaranteeing lead times and proving your integration requires zero friction. Regardless of the physical component or software license being pitched, the true product operators are buying is transparency, resilience, and operational predictability. The industry is scaling rapidly. Vendors who align their product roadmaps with these macro dilemmas today will define the next decade of data center growth as these facilities become the backbone of the compute economy.